who were some of the top waiver wire ads for week 5 of the fantasy football season. I'm going to give you some of my top guys. Now, this is before the Sunday night game and also the Monday night game that I'm recording this. So it can definitely change, but these are the top guys that I think you should be adding heading into the week, from quarterback to tight ends, wide receivers, running backs. I make new videos like this every single day, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. So with that being said, let's get into the video. The top waiver wire ad this week, though, is going to be Damian Williams. Now, as of recording this, I'm not totally sure what the severity is for David Montgomery's injury. Now, I've seen something, one of the reports was he avoided a major knee injury. So that's good. That's good news, but we still don't know. We probably won't know until tomorrow after MRIs and everything. So right now, he looks like he's on path to be the top waiver wire ad. If you have David Montgomery miss extended period of time, whether it's a season, whether he goes on short-term IR, Damian Williams looks like he's going to step in and be the guy in this offense. So he's absolutely the top guy that you want to add this week in all leagues. He needs to be added in all leagues. So Damian Williams is the first guy. Man, it's a little disappointing because I was pretty high on Tyson Williams this year. Now it definitely looks like Latavius Murray is the guy in this offense, at least for the time being. He handled 18 carries out of the backfield. This is a team that likes to run the football, so he's the guy going forward. You want him. He needs to be rostered in all leagues as well on a team that runs the football. The lead back, the guy that they trust the most, Latavius Murray, is the second ad. The next guy is going to be Laviska Shenault. Now, chances are he's probably not available in a lot of your leagues as well, but go check to see if he was dropped, because chances are, I know a lot of leagues, he was dropped in a lot of my leagues because he didn't really have that great of a start to the season. Now that you have DJ Chark out for season, he needs to be rostered in all of leagues. He definitely looked like he was the preferred passing option for Trevor Lawrence this past weekend. Well, not this past weekend, but Thursday Night Football, where he almost went over 100 yards. He had 99 yards, but led the team in targets with 7 targets. So make sure he wasn't dropped, and if he was dropped, go out, get him. Laviska Shenault, the first wide receiver. Now, going forward, I'm not going to really put these guys in a specific order. I'm just going to go from running back to wide receiver to quarterback to tight end. So the next guy is going to be Kenny Gainwell, and see if he's available if you need some running back help, really in deeper leagues, and especially only in PPR, not in standard. So in your PPR leagues, Kenny Gainwell, he should be a player that should be rostered in a little bit more of leagues. Currently, it's sitting at 45%. I think it should be a little bit more than that in PPR, because if anything were to happen, Miles Sanders, he'll see a bigger role. And really going forward, I expect him to see a little bit of a bigger role. He saw 8 targets this past weekend. He's definitely the preferred option in the passing down, where this team really isn't going to be that great this upcoming season. So expect to see a decent amount of Kenny Gainwell. So in your PPR leagues, he's an option, a flex play every single week. So Kenny Gainwell, the next player. The next player is going to be Alex Collins. Now, this isn't somebody I would put in a waiver claim for, but if you have like somebody that you're trying to just rotate your bench, the end of your bench spot, Alex Collins would fit that bill. And Alex Collins just saw 10 carries for 44 yards in this game, and it really looks like they're trying to conserve Chris Carson a little bit, control his touches, that way he's healthy down the stretch. And also, Chris Carson throughout his career has been a little bit banged up, so they want to keep him healthy. If anything were to happen to Chris Carson, I believe Alex Collins would be the next guy up. So I would just keep him on your bench right now in your deeper leagues in case anything were to happen. Of course, you can just drop him if there's other players that come by that are dropped that shouldn't be dropped. But Alex Collins, if you're looking for a guy to just put at the end of your bench, he fits that bill. So last running back that I'm going to talk about, Alex Collins. The next player is going to be Darnell Mooney. And like Laviska, this is probably somebody that may have been dropped in your leagues heading into this week, especially after last week because it was brutal for this team. So go check if he was dropped now. I'm not ready to say that he's the #1 receiving option in this offense. I still believe Allen Robinson, he's just way too talented to not get something going here. But if you have Allen Robinson right now, it's definitely not looking good. I'm not saying he's going to be the #1 guy, Darnell Mooney, but right now, I would go out and add him if he was dropped. He's somebody that, if he keeps playing like this, Justin Fields gets a little going, maybe he is the #1 guy this year. I still don't believe he is. But next week, he gets the Las Vegas Raiders. And then you also have the Green Bay after that, who we just saw Jair Alexander get hurt in that game. So right now, he has a couple good matchups. Darnell Mooney, if he's available in your leagues, go out and try to get him. The first quarterback for me is going to be Trey Lance. And we had an injury to Jimmy G, and now we finally get to see Trey Lance. Now, do they turn the Trey Lance for season long? I believe they do. I don't think that there's a way coming back from this, especially if he plays well. Like, why go back to Jimmy G? So I think Trey Lance now going to be the guy for the rest of the season. I don't know what the significance is of Jimmy G's injury, and it makes sense. Next week they have Arizona. Maybe he stays out, and then they have a bye week. So we'll have to see what exactly happens with Trey Lance and what exactly they're going to do after Jimmy G's healthy. But if you're looking for a guy, you need some quarterback help, he's absolutely the guy that I'm targeting due to the rushing potential there. He had 7 carries, 41 yards. So Trey Lance for me is the top quarterback add this upcoming week. The next guy on the list, a quarterback that you can stream this upcoming week, is going to be Taylor Heineke. Maybe you're not believing in the hype of Trey Lance, or maybe somebody already has him on the roster and you need a quarterback to stream. It's going to be Taylor Heineke. And he actually, in terms of fantasy football production, since becoming the quarterback, has actually played really well. And next week he gets New Orleans, which I would say is a tough matchup, but you just had Danny Dimes rip apart this New Orleans defense for 400 yards, and that was without Sterling Shepard and without Darius Slayton. So for me, Taylor Heineke is going to be one of the top streaming options this upcoming week against New Orleans. So Taylor Heineke is the second streaming option quarterback this upcoming week. The next guy is going to be Danny Dimes. Now, once again, this is in no specific order. So if you want to add him over Taylor Heineke, Trey Lance, like, go for it. He's been playing really well this season, not only in real life football, but especially fantasy football as well. Now, last week was really underwhelming against a really easy matchup in Atlanta. So that was a little disappointing, but going forward, maybe this is just Danny Dimes. And next week he gets Dallas, who Dallas just gave up 2 rushing yards to Sam Darnold. And we know that Danny Dimes can pick up some yards on the ground. So maybe Danny Dimes rushes one in next week, but still against Dallas next week, Dallas should really have their way with this defense and put up a decent amount of points. So Danny Dimes for me is a streamable option next week in fantasy football. The first tight end for me is going to be Dalton Schultz, and I believe he should be the first tight end pickup this upcoming week. Now, a lot of people might say, what about Dawson Knox? But for me, it's going to be Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz last year was actually a top 10 tight end. This season, right now, he's a top 10 tight end. He's seeing more reliable targets, yards, receptions than Dawson Knox is. Dawson Knox is catching the touchdowns right now, which Dalton Schultz has done that back-to-back weeks now, but he's just more reliable in the other categories than Dawson Knox is, and this is still just as a high-powered offense as Buffalo is right now as well. So for me, I'd rather have Dalton Schultz over Dawson Knox, and obviously I'm just going to pull him up right now because you already know who I'm going to say next is going to be Dawson Knox. And like Dalton Schultz, he plays on a very high-powered offense that plays at a very good rate, is seeing red zone targets right now. He's seeing other work as well. Not as much as Dalton Schultz, but still a streaming option, especially next week against Kansas City. Like, fire him up. That game should score the most points of the whole weekend. So Dawson Knox, and that does it. I may be missing a couple other people, but this is going to be updated this coming week. On Tuesday, it will be updated. I'm going to update this, especially after tonight's game and Monday night's game. We might have some other additions to this list. So if you enjoy this content, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.